seen something and been turned on, like, ooh, I like that. 'Tis sexy. I want to sex that. But then you go to get busy and your vagina is like completely not aroused, not wet, not responding, offline. Conversely, have you ever been like, blech, no, absolutely not. 'Tis not sexy, not in the mood, not right now, I don't like that. But then your vagina is like dripping wet, like, yes please right now. If you have had those experiences, either or both, then you are not alone. In fact, you are in very good company. And in this video, I am going to tell you why sometimes it seems like your head and your vagina are not friends. So this video mostly looks at females who were born with a vagina, but that's not to say that other people cannot watch this video, especially if you are someone who tends to love and make love to someone who was born with a vagina, then this is probably a great video for you to watch. And here is the big takeaway. I'm gonna give it to you right up front. There is no predictive relationship between how aroused this female feels and how much her genitals respond. So basically what is happening in the head is not matching what is happening in the vagina. And this is called arousal nonconcordance. I first read about this concept in the book Come As You Are by Dr.Emily. I hope I'm saying that right. And it was based on research that was done in relatively recent history, so within the last 10 years, which is sad but not really surprising that it has taken until well into the 21st century before people are actually researching female sexuality and sexual response. So what happened in the study where they discovered arousal nonconcordance, they put first all males into a room, not at the same time, one at a time, and then they would strap them to a strain gauge, which would measure the amount of blood flow that they had going down into their genitals. And then they would show them a variety of pornographic images, and they would get a little dial where they had to rate if they were a little bit aroused, a lot aroused, or like very, very aroused. And the result was that there was a 50% overlap between what the males were saying they were aroused by and what their penises were actually being like, yeah, I'm aroused by that. So they did the same thing with females, and they found that there was only a 10% correlation. So that means that only 10% of the time that the vagina sees something that it's like yes to, is the head also like, yeah, okay, that is not a lot. So 90% of the time, either the vagina was like, hell yes, we want that, and the head was like, la 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 la, I wonder what I'm gonna make for dinner. Or the head would see something and be like, okay, yeah, I see that. And the vagina would be like, I don't even care. So if this is you, Dr. Nagoski says, that is great, because you are normal. You are normal, it is fine. Arousal nonconcordance happens 90% of the time. So don't worry about it and trust what your partner says to you as opposed to what their body is doing. And yes, I agree in that I don't want you to think there's anything wrong with you if that is the case, and that this is the typical experience for people who were born with vaginas. Understanding that can really help to liberate us in the bedroom, wonderful. However, I would disagree in one respect. Although this is normal, or rather common, I personally don't think that it is natural. The head and the body are actually one and the same. They are meant to be friends. They are meant to be in union. We have spent so many years, decades, centuries, millennia cutting our heads off from our bodies, and in particular from our genitals, that is what is causing this huge discrepancy or aggravating the discrepancy. And I'm not saying that this means it's your fault or our fault or anybody's fault, but if we want to blame anybody, maybe we can just blame culture in general. If we consider the abuse and the sexual violence that has been directed against females for, again, centuries, millennia, the message that the body got was that sex is unsafe, or sex is dangerous, or sex needs to be a certain way, or else it's shameful or sinful. And so the brain was like, we need to operate and understand sex differently than what is naturally happening. So when our vagina, this really primal force, is saying like, yes, that is sexually relevant stimuli, the head has actually been programmed to be like, ah, gross, no, yucky, that's not proper sex. That is not sexy and stimulating. That is not the way I am supposed to show up. That is not the type of sex I am supposed to be having. Gross. Shame. And then when the head is like, ah, yes, that is sexually relevant stimuli because it follows the prescribed rule of what I am supposed to do and how I am supposed to act as a female. Or, oh yes, that is sexy because I was told that that is what sexy is. Ah, yes, that is sexy because I'm allowed to think that that is sexy. It's about a good girl who has perhaps been bewitched or dragged away by some incredibly sexy man, but it wasn't her fault and it wasn't her choice, and she's being seduced into this thing, but she just happens to enjoy it. But then the vagina is like, really? So that's my 2 cents on the matter. If you do experience arousal nonconcordance, no shame. It's okay. There is absolutely nothing wrong with you. You are in the norm. And I would still encourage you to raise awareness between your brain and body connection, in particular your brain and genital connection, because when we do body-based exercises or mindfulness-based exercises that we do talk a lot about on this channel, that can help to bring the brain and the body back in alignment so that hopefully we can begin to experience more arousal concordance. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section below. And until next time, eat, squat, and come.